intentions, a couple of interesting issues to get your opinion on in the agenda. Distractions, I am in a camper in the forest and there is a thunderstorm. That's my distraction. And I'll pass it to Danny.
Hello, governors. Good morning. My intention is to pay attention to what these issues are because now they affect me. And I need to know how. And my distraction is that the quadratic funding thing is closing tomorrow, and I need to get a bunch more givers to my projects. So I'm working on an instruction doc on the side, and I'll pass it to Franco.
Thank you, Danny. My intention for the call is just talking about these issues that you brought up, Mitch. I was just giving a read and just letting everyone know that we have the distribution out for round 19 for rewards. And if you want to take a look there, and no distractions. I'll pass it over to Jake.
Cool. Intentions listening to what Mitch has for us today. Stay active. Distractions, have some family over downstairs. Shuga, take it away.
Hey, Jake, thanks. I am just coming back from vacation, so I'm catching up. And I'm in a different time zone, so distractions are including that family is around. Well, I guess family's always around. I'll pass it to Danny.
Danny already went, but we can pass it to Almond.
Intentions, to listen to the items you mentioned at the beginning of the call, and distraction, same, thunderstorm, camping, and I'll pass it to Kotabe.
GM. My intention for the call is just syncing. Distractions, just responding a few DMs. I'll pass it to, let's see, Janking.
GMO. Distractions are normal. I'm at the office trying to get set up for the mornings, and it's been 2 hours already. And I am here just to catch up and see what's going on. I haven't been watching, so I don't know who's next.
Yeah, I think so. My intention today is to see what's happening in governance call, and my distraction is I'm having a little bit of cold, so I can pass it to Heather.
Thanks, Kashav. My intention for the call is just to stay up to date on what's going on with the forum and offer my input if needed. And I'll pass it back to you, Mitch, because I think everyone's gone.
Yes, indeed. Everybody's gone. Wow. People are out today, which is too bad. Anyway, a couple things here. Just some things I thought of that we could spend the time talking about. There's 2 things following up on Subdel, maybe some ideas of how we plan for putting up our second quarterly budgets. And the other one is related, categorizing all of these things that we just kind of dumped into the I don't know working group on Clockify. So figuring out a plan for that. But before we get there, there's nothing that I really noted in the forum to talk about. So maybe just some things to vote on, mostly in the multi-sig SIGs. There's a few things here I also posted about it. One of them is transferring out 5 million give to this treasury handler address that I control. just basically making it easier to bridge these tokens to Optimism and then use them for a couple different things, like making liquidity on Optimism and using them to eventually distribute givebacks. We're not going to use all the 5 million right away, but I figured since we're going to pay the fees to bridge it, we'll just bridge over more than we need and then keep some on the side for whatever we need in the future. So this is going to be transferred to Optimism, and then the Give's not going to stay in that wallet. It's probably going to be held in the Giveth main multisig. So that's the first one there, and that's on the Giveth liquidity multisig on mainnet. So if you're a signer on there, I think there's a few people you can go ahead and do that. The second one here that I put up this morning is sending out 6,500 USDC from our Giveth matching multisig on mainnet, and these funds are going to be bridged to, they're going to be turned into DAI and sent over to Gnosis chain, where they're going to be returned to the Giveth matching multisig on Gnosis chain and used to be distributing the matching funding for quadratic funding. So those are two transactions there. They need a couple more signatures to go through. And do you guys have any questions about that? The only reason we're sending this out is because bridging and swapping is a big hassle to try and do through the multi-sig. So it's easier just to send it out, somebody do it from a wallet, and then send whatever back. Oh, we got okay, more people. That's great. I love it.
I don't see
Griffin
the link
Lauren.
to that second one.
Second one, this one here with
Yeah.
the USDC. I'll
Yeah.
drop it here. There we go. That's for the USDC. Great. So, I mean, if you guys are here, I think there's enough people in this call to sign this through. So that would be great. Griffin, Lauren, if you guys are just getting up to speed. God, crazy out here. Sorry. Full on thunderstorm. Okay. If you have any questions about any of those things I just posted, just ask them. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay. Great. Then there's some things here. For the sub-DAO planning, I wanted to talk about how we should prepare for building the second round of budgets. My thoughts is that we should be getting together like our actual costs. So if you're leading a working group, like figuring out how much your actual costs are, and then preparing that for the next budget. But I'm wondering if there's any other thoughts, like, or questions or things we should think about how to do this next round of budgeting. What do we need? What can we improve? What worked well?
I think, well, with the QF working group and stuff, because I think that we need to make it a little bit more open, kind of like just clear budget stuff. We could maybe talk about like what we accomplished on the budget from the previous quarter in like the new forum post. It's like our actual budget, our estimated, but like you could see the previous forum post, blah, blah, blah. But what we actually spent was this much. And these are the things that we achieved that were like from any of the columns, because what I'm noticing.
And then I could hear the rumble. I was like, they're moving the truck or something.
Oh, sorry. It's just, I thought you were talking, but yeah, anyway, so the thing I'm noticing with the QF working group is that like we jammed everything into a shorter timeline. So I think we kind of like, I don't know, I think we actually did things probably on less budget than
I actually requested. So then there's more budget to do things from like the grow working group or the grow side of things. And it's like, it feels very prescriptive. Like, oh, everybody voted this. Like on QF, it was like people voted sustain, so we shouldn't do Giveth Pro, but people didn't vote against Giveth Pro. They voted on the particular budget. So that's what I'm saying. I think we need to make it a little bit more, yeah, like a little bit more clear as to like that, you know, we're requesting just a specific budget and kind of have like proof of what we accomplished with previous budgets.
Sorry, I'm very distracted. There's like a really big thunderstorm. Sorry, that's my distraction.
Sure.
Yeah, so basically Lauren was just saying that, you know, the whole point is that this is for a budget and that, you know, things move in different ways and some plans don't happen the way you expect. So that if Lauren as the
Guys, I have to drop this call.
like,
I'm sorry.
have
Things are
some
going
that
crazy
wouldn't-
here. Can somebody take on leading this?
Okay.
Yeah, can you post the notion in the chat? Oh, okay, he's gone. I'll find it.
It's in
Can
the
anyone post the
governance.
notion?
He posted it in the governance channel last night. It's there.
Thanks. And Reiko just posted it in the chat. I can try to just push forward here. Does anyone have any thoughts on this? Like, it's cool to just be like, okay, this is for the budget. Does anyone feel like if, for instance, people voted against Giveth Pro, but Lauren's like, well, I have the bandwidth and I think this is really great. We should do it anyway. Because we can do it under budget. What is that like against the rules? How do you guys feel?
I think that's great actually. Like if you made it happen like with the lower budget and then you have time for developing Giveth Pro, that would be amazing.
That's funny because I feel the opposite. I'm not a fan of Giveth Pro, and I voted the way I voted because I didn't want to vote for Giveth Pro.
Interesting. It seems to me these are things like what Lauren said about sharing it on the forum post, because, you know, we set the budget with what we can forecast, only knowing what we know. And so then as we learn more, we can say what we did and suggest what else we're going to do. But that would be the place where you would express any concerns you have about what the working group's actually doing with their money.
Yeah, I agree with
I'm not
that
sure what
because
Giveth
it,
Pro is,
yeah.
but if it was up for vote for a specific item and it was voted against, I would think that'd be not what you'd want to go with.
But that's what I'm saying. The budget stuff is weird because like nobody voted against Giveth Pro, or maybe some people chose sustain because they were like, I don't think we should spend extra money on Giveth Pro. But the choices were, do you want to give us this budget to grow, this budget to sustain, this budget to, you know, shrink? And these are the things that we think we can accomplish with that money. But if you can accomplish within the allocated budget that the people voted on more, you know, it's like, at what point is that the discretion of the working group? And at what point does it need to go to a vote?
I don't think it needs to go to a vote because the vote is only for allocating money. But I do think that it makes sense, as Suga is saying, in this specific case where something was like part of the budget, then maybe it shouldn't, it should be, as Danny said, discussed in the forum. If you guys want to do it,
Maybe a separate vote based on that item, because since it's already maybe contentious.
Or maybe like a forum vote, though. I don't think it should be like a.
Yeah, just a poll.
Yeah.
Romania. When did that go Romania?
It seems to me if there's something in the budget that you don't agree with, that would be something to take up with that working group directly.
Yeah, and this wasn't in the budget. Yeah, this kind of raises a different question, just in general about new ideas and getting consensus. I don't know if I think I got a unstable connection here. Yeah, but at what point is it necessary to ask for input on ideas, or can they just kind of move forward without the community agreeing?
I think it's important that there is like a lead person coming up with ideas for product. I think products are like best being run by dictators unfairly, and that the dictators can be, you know, swapped out. Like if there's something, I think we were talking about having elections for subgroups or something like that, or
Maybe you should use yours. I think my internet's unstable.
It is, but we got the gist of that. Also, what about doing roadmap voting or polling, if you will? Just, you know, product puts up an entire roadmap and people vote on the stuff that they want to add and minus to it. Also, a canny vote. You can also do, well, I think we have something else here, right? But you can do canny and actually feedback it up and down and all that stuff.
can you guys hear me now?
Yes, clearly.
Oh, great. I don't know what's going on with Giveth House internet, but I think that products in general should be products in general should be led by dictators, because there's a lot of small decisions that need to be made, and like compromising on those decisions ends up creating a worse product. Whereas, but budgets can hold them accountable, and I think that this is just the better way to do things in DAOs in general. But then, like, if there is obviously a core product that, you know, people are like, this product manager's doing a bad job, you know, there's like a couple routes. Either they, you know, we complain, we talk about it through conflict res and gravity forums, or we, you know, discuss challenges in the forums about specific features that are important, make issues, give user feedback, that more traditional ways. And of course, before they take on a huge change in a product like Giveth Pro, feedback, I think, is just good practice.
Maybe every month or whatever term is a roadmap vote. Actual product put out some little roadmap of what this is what we're thinking, and get a public vote, community vote.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what the budget vote kind of came into.
Budget's separate.
Something like that. Well, the budget is separate, but it along with it was like, this is what we're going to use the budget to do. And then, you know, you saw the grow and sustain and shrink votes, right?
Right.
So it was kind of like a budget and here's our plan.
Yeah, those are just guesses, though, aren't they? That's what we plan
Best
to do.
guesses.
Right.
But important signals.
Oh, right. But they're not roadmap.
No. I think 1 month is too long, or too short, I mean.
Yeah, well, I didn't know the time frame. Yeah, it's like until
Quarterly.
each item gets done, then it doesn't get off the roadmap. So it's like you put a roadmap of, say, the next 6 months, and then as things get done, they take it off. Then you might want to do it in 3 months, a new one to update it.
Yeah.
Just throwing ideas.
Yeah. I want to make sure there's no other topics here that we're supposed to go through. Do you guys, I'm having trouble finding other agenda topics besides this sub-DAO thing. Oh, categorizing the I don't know working group. Is that a topic that we should give time to? sorry.
I think that's part of the sub-DAO conversation. It's like in Clockify.
Yeah.
Mitch wanted to discuss this like in this call, not in the sub-DAO. Like
Yeah.
the category.
Okay, so does anyone want to lead this discussion? I mean, Franco, do you know a lot about this discussion? Categorizing the I don't know. I know we didn't get a good answer on the previous discussion, but I want to. There's only 8 minutes left, so I feel like we got some general concepts out of the way, and it feels okay.
Yeah, I guess what Mitch wanted to know is like, what do we do with this category, which is the I don't know category, where we put like community call, body calls, forum, voting. So like, maybe
we need to allocate it to the different groups, right? So we know where it's built. These things, because
do they need to go to different groups? Because all of these have certain things in common. They're all like education and mentorship. They're all things that we do to build team coherence and provide information and feedback, or gain it from each other. This is what I see from them. And there's a few that are weird, like partnerships, I guess. But for the most part, they're all things that we do to build our community engagement and learning between each other.
Right. So I think the point here is just to either put them into the working group category or create a category for them so that we know how to allocate the budget for it. Or I guess the whole point of this is just knowing where to allocate the hours.
Yeah, that looks like what he's proposing is that we have like a cohesion budget or some kind of better name, and then we say that every working group has to assume they have to pay for this. I mean, this is the thing. Paid time off has got to come from the working groups. You know, all budget comes from the working groups.
Okay.
You know, so there's kind of a almost like a tax to be a working group. That's like you have to pay for your full-time employees, pay time off, and you have to pay for people to go to conferences and stuff like that.
Don't call it
Pay people to
taxes.
post on forums.
Yeah, I agree with you, Griff.
But yeah, I mean, this is like kind of like the administration and operations budget, right? It's like the things that everybody puts something, every working group puts something in for this.
Mm-hmm. And then I mean, then I feel like this is a conversation best had with Freshell, because it's like, okay, so when someone who works on multiple working groups puts in that they went to a conference, how do we divvy that person's hours up to those things? You know, is it like, oh well, you know, they're 25% working for DAO Ops and 25% working for this group and 50% working for that group. So like their 10 hours at a conference gets divvied. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a conversation with Freshell for the details.
I literally just posed that question to Freshell today because like ECC, I was pushing QF, but then also trying to find general magic leads. So absolutely right there with you, Griff. So I'll let you know what Freshell kind of comes back with my question on that. And I don't mean just Griff, I mean the group.
I do think that we have something in Clockify that it's like, for example, for Ethereum Barcelona, I don't know about ETHCC, but in Clockify we do have something separate for Ethereum Barcelona. Like that's a specific case for that conference. But I think that like conference might be like a very like exceptional case, and this is just like trying to categorize like something that happens like regularly, like the forum, voting, and community calls and body calls, which is more regular than a conference, I think. So like what you said before about like maybe allocating this hour into the same like working group that the person is working for, like that also makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
Hey
like
guys,
yeah. Oh hey.
I rejoined. Yeah. The awning broke, so there was just like dumping water, and it's crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
we were discussing the I don't know working group on whether or not it should be part of the like DAO Ops working group, or if it should be split amongst a bunch of working groups based off of who you work for and how to manage that. Maybe you have more context on this.
Yeah, did you see the stuff that I had at the bottom there? I was kind of thinking about this.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
cohesion budget.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a great name, but I think yeah, you get it.
Are you thinking that that would come out of each working group, or that would just be coming out of one working group?
I think it would be, we have to figure out how it comes out of working groups, but basically the idea is that we're kind of at least having some sort of limit on how much people are spending on these things. Like, I don't know if IRL conferences, would go under that bucket, but buddy calls, well, you get it here, things like dishing praise, whatever have you. The interesting thing is, like, we might have people. No, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure how to deal with this.
I think it's a conversation between probably you and Frashell. And then I think that's because without Frashell's input, I think we're kind of like screwed, because she would have to execute on anything.
Then, like, maybe in terms of like putting some sort of boundaries on how we spend this time, like oh, okay, I can spend about 5 to 10% of what I usually do monthly, doing this miscellaneous stuff. Because right now there's no boundaries on it. It's like, okay, I can work for 4 hours and spend 3 hours writing in the forum, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if you take IRL conferences and paid time off and partnerships out of this, because partnerships is like Jake's job. He's going to spend all of his time on that shit, like.
I spend a lot of
and
time,
also-
doing partnerships or things like that, because people just reach out to me.
Yeah, I feel like that shouldn't be something that's, oh, you can't do that with more than 10% of your time. But I feel like, I mean, it makes sense for calls and forum posts and buddy review calls.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, we're at the top of the half an hour, but like partnerships, would that be something we put under like DAO Ops with fundraising?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, then, yeah, I can work on it with Rochelle. That's fine. But anyway, thanks for stepping in, Griff. And we're at the top of the half. So I don't know if we got anything done but there it is.
No, we got nothing done, but we really missed you, Mitch.
Maybe this call should be an hour again.
Well, I just think it was like hard because of, yeah. We can make it an hour, but it's got to go into the next half an hour. There's a fundraising call right now, and we have a stewards call a half an hour before, so. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, that's an idea. We could check it out. Anyway,
Well,
there's a fundraising call happening right now.
Well, the multi-sigs got their signatures. That happened. Yeah.
Yay, that's progress.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, ciao,
Thanks
guys.
for joining, everyone.